Okay, so today we're going to be looking at PBS compliance for truck and dog vehicles in this video. My name's Evan Courtney, I'm a PBS certifier here in Queensland, and we're going to go through and answer a couple of questions that common transport operators have. So what do I look for when buying a PBS vehicle, and can my existing vehicles get PBS approval? So these are the things that we need to know. Mass limits, basics of PBS certification, which includes axle spacing requirements, the GTM and ATM requirements, and braking requirements. This is not a comprehensive list, but if you do meet these, you'll most likely get PBS approval. So let's look at mass limits first. Individual axle group masses, 6.5 tonnes on a single steer axle. On a tandem axle group, 16.5 tonnes for GML and 17 tonnes for concessional mass limits or higher mass limits. And for a single axle with dual tyres, 9 tonnes. And then for a twin steer truck, the twin steer group gets 11 tonnes. So these are the individual axle masses, and they'll add up to be what your gross combination mass is, but then your gross combination mass will also be capped depending on the circumstances. So let's look at those now. So without PBS, these are the masses you get across the different states. So for a 3-axle truck and 3-axle dog, 48.5 tonnes in ACT and New South Wales, whereas Queensland is only 45.5 tonnes. So going up to PBS, 49.5 tonnes maximum. So quite a jump for Queensland, South Australia and Victoria to get PBS. So it's quite lucrative in those states. 57.5 tonnes for a quad axle dog trailer. And then for the twin steer combinations, 54 tonnes and 62 tonnes. You can actually get 5-axle dog trailers and also 6-axle dog trailers under PBS. But for the sake of time and the scope of this video, we're just going to be focusing on these 4 combinations today. Drop a comment below if you would like another video that would talk about 5-axle dog and 6-axle dog combinations, and I'll see if I can get to that one soon. So this is your mass increases for the various combinations. So from 4 tonnes all the way to 12 tonnes, depending on what your state is as well. So this would be the reason why you would want to get PBS certification, and depending on what state you're in, some would be more lucrative than others. So that's mass limits. Let's look at the basics of PBS. To start with the axle spacing requirements. As we go through, all of this information that I've got in this video is available for free in our PBS Truck and Dog Compliance Guide. If you guys look for a link below, you'll be able to download this for free and come back and reference all of these things later. So at a minimum, for a 4-axle dog trailer, you need to have an axle spacing from the front to the rearmost axle of 6.83 meters to get the maximum PBS mass. And then for a 3-axle dog trailer, 4.3 meters from the front to the rear axle. So if you don't meet these requirements, you can still benefit from PBS, but you just won't be able to achieve the maximum PBS masses. So as a good guide, every 30 centimeters that you are shorter than these distances, you'll lose about 1 ton of mass. Now these aren't the only axle spacings. There are multiple axle spacings across the whole combination, and we're going to go through those over the next few slides. But if you want to briefly check if you're looking at buying a trailer, these are the spacings you want to look out for. So for a 3-axle truck and 3-axle dog combination, 49.5 tonnes, it needs to meet these measurements here. Now these measurements are all shown in millimeters. And so we mentioned the 4.3 meters before on that dog trailer, but you also need to be meeting these axle spacings as well. 9 times out of 10, the issue is usually the trailer that's capping the mass. And then for a 3-axle truck, 4-axle dog combination, it's these measurements, these axle spacings, 57 tonnes, 57.5 tonnes, GCM for that one. 4-axle truck and 3-axle dog at 54 tonnes GCM needs to meet these axle spacings. And for a 4-axle truck and a 4-axle dog to get 62.5 tonnes, they need to meet these axle spacings. And again, these are all in our Truck and Dog Compliance Guide that you can download. So when you meet these axle spacings, this is what it will look like on your actual PBS vehicle approval. So here's your individual axle masses and then your gross combination mass here. So you can see for CML and HML, you get 57.5 tonnes. Now, if you don't meet these axle spacings, then these masses here will be reduced. GCM and ATM requirements. Let's have a look at those. So the GCM is the gross combination mass. That's the maximum total weight of the truck and trailer together, including the load. And the ATM is the aggregate trailer mass, which is the maximum total weight of the trailer, including the load. And so you can find the GCM of the truck on the compliance plate, and that's usually located within the door jamb on the driver's side, sometimes also on the passenger side door. So here's an example from Western Star truck and a Kenworth. And the ATM, the aggregate trailer mass, found on the trailer compliance plate, is usually located on the left-hand side of the trailer chassis. So left-hand side of the chassis. So for this one, the ATM's 35 tons. This one's actually a dolly, not a trailer, but the compliance plates look the same. And the ATM on this one's 17 tons. Here's a couple more examples, more modern compliance plates for trailers. This one's 42.5 tons. This one's shown in kilograms, so 42,500 kilograms. And same with this one, 31,000 kilograms, which is 31 tons. Those GCMs need to meet at least these PBS masses here. Otherwise, you're not going to benefit. You can get PBS approved, but then you're going to be capped at whatever the GCM is on the truck anyway. So the truck GCM needs to meet these masses, and the trailer ATM needs to meet these masses. So for a triaxle dog, it needs to be 26 tons. For a quad dog, 34 tons. And same goes for the ATM. If the ATM is 25 tons, then obviously you lose 1 ton, and the vehicle will only be able to get 48.5 tons maximum mass. So for the component requirements, as a PBS certifier, these are all the things that we check, but the one that we have the most issue with is the brake system. So we need to make sure that this system's suitable before we decide to book in a PBS certification. So let's have a look at those braking requirements. So PBS requires both the truck and trailer to be fitted with one of the following systems, either EBS, ABS, or load sensing valves, also known as load proportion valves. But from the 1st of July 2026, load sensing valves will no longer be permitted. And this is where you can find it on NHVR's website. If you find your truck or trailer doesn't meet these requirements, you can get an upgrade. Although trucks are quite expensive to upgrade to more advanced systems, trailers are a lot easier. So if you do want to upgrade to load sensing valves or an EBS systems on a trailer, that can be done. Alright, for trucks manufactured in November 2015 or later should be fitted with an anti-lock braking system, and this is required under ADR 3505. So for trucks built prior to this, ABS fitment can be confirmed by checking the ABS warning indicator on the dashboard or by contacting the vehicle manufacturer and providing the VIN for confirmation. And for the trailers manufactured in January 2015 or later are required to be fitted with an anti-lock braking system in accordance with ADR 3505. Any trailers built prior to this, compliance can be confirmed by locating the brake system identification label fitted to the trailer. So these are the common braking system manufacturers that you can find: Haldex, ZF Wabco, and Knorr Bremse. And these are the common EBS naming configurations that each of the brands give. Here's some example brake labels and how you can find out what the braking system actually is. So for this ZF, it has an EBS system fitted. This Wabco system has load sensing valves on this trailer. Haldex brand with load sensing valves, Knorr Brems with EBS on this one. So as you can see, these labels can vary and look a bit different sometimes. Here's some more. Here's another Wabco one with EBS, another Haldex one with EBS as well. So that's the braking requirements. It's also a good idea to check your access, but that's not going to be covered in this video today. So you'll need to know, where can I use my vehicle, and also, do I need a permit? The National Network Map is a great place to check what your access is for your relevant state, but we won't be covering that in this video. So leave a comment below if you want me to make a video about access, and I'll do that at a later date. So in summary, you will need to check if your axle spacings meet the minimum lengths. Does your truck GCM and trailer ATM meet the mass that you need? And is the brake system on the truck and trailer suitable, either ABS, EBS, or load sensing valves? And can I get the road access I need, and do I need a permit? So this will be what you want to check before trying to get PBS approved. So that pretty well covers everything you need to know to get your truck and dog PBS approved. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, feel free to share it around. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. You can also check the link out in the description below to download the Truck and Dog Guide, which includes the details covered in this video. That's all for now. See you in the next one.